how are they going to be held accountable? If the legality cannot be reviewed by a court or tribunal, who will hold the NEC accountable? These are some very concerning questions. Every decision that our leaders make should be subject to scrutiny because the decisions affect a large population. Having the power to go unchecked raises opportunities for reckless decision making. Excuse me, also because we were not given prior notice of this test before it happened. Even more, there were also conflicting press releases between the government and NICTA, highlighting an alarming disconnect. Some key concerns raised by the CSU include the government's ability to exert control over such specific and private aspects of the lives of citizens. Two, and in this case, for telecommunication providers and the employees for them. Our recommendations for this include, for clarity to be made on what specific provisions the government relied on to ban Facebook. Two, to amend the definition of acts of terrorism to be more specific. Three, to review and clear resulted in destruction, death, and injury. If you look at the 2016 UPNG shootings, for example, or Black Wednesday just last year, another example. Therefore, we would like to propose some alternatives to continue to facilitate critical thinking and problem-solving attitudes to the younger generations especially to face the issues of this country. That is all, and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it from the the student rep of the Central Student Union of UPNG 2025. Moving on, let me now call upon the next speaker, Margaret Simiat from East New Britain Province, as the rep to the East New Britain Province, to come up and make a speech.
Good day, Algeta. Olan Labaksa Jiplare Mioraita. Thank you. I am Margaret Simet, and today I stand on behalf of the East New Britain Student Association. So my forward Nicholas Raka from the CSU has already covered a lot of important information, but today we gather to think about a few concerning questions that involve all of us. One, what happens when the voices of the people are ignored? Two, what happens when the power to challenge leadership is taken away from us? And three, what happens when we can no longer speak freely? Today I stand before you, not just as a youth, not just as someone from East New Britain Province, but as a concerned Papua New Guinean. Having read the Counterterrorism Act and having read the Counterterrorism Act and having read the National Executive Council Act, even to air my views like this, it troubles me. Three major decisions have been made that affect us all. One being the amendment to Section 145 of the Constitution of Papua New Guinea. Two being the National Executive Council Amendment Act. And three being the Facebook shutdown under and facilitated by the Counterterrorism Act 2024. These are not just legal changes. Mind you, these are attacks. Attacks on our democracy, attacks on our freedom, and attacks on our future. Having said that, I'll go right into our first issue of the day, which is the amendment to Section 145 of the Constitution of Papua New Guinea. So, for those of you that are not aware of this issue, the recent amendment to Section 145 now gives the Prime Minister an 18-month grace period after surviving a vote of no confidence. This means that even if a leader is failing, we cannot challenge that leader until almost 2 years later. What is the problem with this? The problem with this amendment is that the vote of no confidence is steering wheel for this next 18-month goal. That in itself inconvenient. So we have two recommendations, I would say realistic recommendations. We are of the view that instead of 18 months, we reduce it back to the 12-month period, because this ensures the government has time to function, it both has time to function, and the government remains free. So the National Executive Council, the decisions now makes it a tool to suppress you and I, our free speech. How does that hurt democracy? One way, silencing free speech. The law defines terrorism in that act as, and I quote, influencing government action. So if people criticize the government online, offline, you and I could be labeled as terrorists. A supporting fact to this, might I add, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no first time law looking fun. It's been around. It's been around for a long time, and it's been practiced in other countries, one such as across Europe. Vague terrorism laws have been implemented by governments in Europe, and governments have misused counterterrorism laws to suffocate freedom of speech, target activists, and to limit media freedom. Laws criminalizing terrorism have been used against journalists, protesters, and even artists. Why does this matter in PNG? Why am I talking about a situation where I'm come up overseas? It matters today. It matters today to you and I because similar to these European countries, PNG's Counterterrorism Act 2024, it uses the exact same vague definitions such as, and I quote, advancing a political cause, 1, 2, influencing government action. These things classify as terrorism. 2, the interpretation, to change the language, to change the definition of terrorism, to specify that criticism of government policies or peaceful protesters, those things cannot be classified as terrorism. And we need to ensure that the law focuses on real threats to national security. The second, that's the first recommendation. The second recommendation being that court approval, a judicial review is required before digital shutdowns, not like what we've seen take place just now. We need to introduce a judicial process where only courts can approve the shutdown of social media platforms. It doesn't make sense where all the power is vested in one person, in one body, no. What this does is it prevents the abuse of executive power. Currently, the executive has all the power. With that, in summary, we, the NBSA, cannot ignore these three changes. Not only the NBSA, but all of us here. We cannot ignore these three changes. The 18-month grace period delays accountability. The NEC amendment, it silences representation. And the recent Facebook shutdown and the implementation of the Counterterrorism Act 2024, that essentially threatens our freedom of speech. So if the government truly wants stability, it must start by listening to us, the people, not by shutting us out. And with that, there's an interesting topics where I can link all three of them before concluding. So there is an old story about a frog in a pot of water. If you throw the frog into a boiling pot of water, immediately this frog bakala comes outside. The frog will sense the heat and jump. But if you put the frog into warm water and slowly raise the heat, the frog won't realize that it's in danger until it's too late. So that is exactly what is happening to our democracy. One law at a time, one amendment at a time. And if we don't do anything soon, we may end up like that same animal in the pot. So the last and final recommendation overall, and this is also building on Nicholas Raka and the CSU's final recommendation, strengthening democratic participation in 2027 elections. Because at the end of the day, you and I, Mipla Kuti, this our leaders up inside now of fellow cabinet, that's us. So, while we are holding the government accountable today, we have to hold ourselves accountable as well. So, we call for how educated people like you and I, schools and universities should integrate civic education on government policies and electoral processes. This is important. Not only should it take place here, but in the rural areas as well. Once you educate the masses, they can make the decision for themselves. Then you cannot speak on the leadership mandated at the end of the day. That being said, we may come from different provinces, but we are one nation. When one of us is silent, we all lose. So today, when we stand together, no government, no amendment, no law can ignore our voice. So today, we stand for democracy and for our future. With that, thank you, Papua New Guinea.
Thank you so much. That was from Margaret, the East New Britain rep. Ladies and gentlemen, and those joining us online, Let me again remind everyone, both online and those in the audience, that we are not doing any protest here. It's an open forum to get the views of the students of the recent amendments that were passed by the government to be reconsidered. We are not doing any protest, and let this go far and wide in social media and mainstream media platforms. Again, let me inform both the audience here and those joining us online that we are being live broadcasted by the NBC, PNG Sound, and MTV. Now let me remind our provincial reps also that the two presenters have presented very well according to the line of speech that are recommended by the SRC office. Without further ado, let me now call upon Tirabil from the Morobe, the students' representatives, to come up and make a speech.
Good afternoon, Papua New Guineans. The MC has mentioned my name. My name is Terabil. I am finally a social work student and the representative of the Morobe students. Alright, before I proceed on, I'll ask you one question. Are you all agree with the government, the current government? Are you all agree with the current government? Why are we not agree with the current government? We cannot stand at the sideline and see the government do something. We cannot be sidelined. We cannot tolerate it. All right. Most of the points that we Morobe students discussed and passed. Most of the points we are going with the SRC, UPNG SRC. The first point is prevalent issues. Number one, that's prevalent issue. Increase in lawlessness or law and order issue, comprising massive killing everywhere around the country. Since the Maraviroso government took the seat, there has been many killings, massive killings going around the country. That's corruption. We cannot tolerate that. We need a good leader to protect us. Not a good leader not a leader that can ignore us and ignore the basic issues and all that. I'm not going to lecture you. I'm just going to the point. Second one, high cost of living. We all know that. High cost of living. You spend 100 kena for a bag of rice. That's all. Too many loans from several financial institutions, either domestically or internationally, leading to the accumulation of country's debt. That is the problem we have. That is the problem we have. How can we prosper if we have debt? We cannot prosper if we have debt. That is the problem we have. Our economy worth 120 billion and the government loan is 100 billion. It's approximately going to reach that. And if it goes up there and it reaches that one, we are not going to survive. We are not going to survive. You spend 100 kina and that's it. We are going to go slim. Second point is current pressing issues. Amendment to Section 145 of the Constitution. Calculated move to consolidate power by restricting the motions of vote of no confidence. Second one, undermine its intent as a safeguard for public dissent through elected leaders. Amendment to Section 8 of National Executive Council Act. The secrecy, information non-justifiable. They are taking everything into their own hands. That's authoritarian regime. Only few control the government system. Upon that they passed the Anti-Terrorism Act. We are not going to escape. If not, these gatherings can be, if in this gathering, they can see us as terrorists. Second point, that the court has no right to review bills passed by the members of Parliament. Another point, enactment and execution of Anti-Terrorism Act 2024. The point to that is freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and freedom of information undermined and manipulated by passing the nature of democracy. Many of us are saying that we are going to protest. We are not going to protest. I can tell you that. So stay taking our basic rights. Stay taking our basic rights. This is not the Facebook. When we say our freedom of expression, they shut the Facebook. You see that? It's not hiding. Everything is understood. And do you think that that's democracy? Are we living in a democratic country or what? We are not living in a democratic country. That's what I see. I don't know about you, but that's what I see. Total authoritarianism. They will do that. They will move to oligarchy. From oligarchy, they will move to the dictatorship. And when they get the dictatorship, that's it. We are not doing that case. That's our point. Moreover students, as a Moreover student, we came up with that point. We've made some plans, backup plans for the practices. And we said that plan A, push forward for Marape to resign or step down as Prime Minister. We are going to do that, right? We are going to do that. Don't sit down here and just look at me like I'm what? We are going to do that. We are not going to give up. We are going to fight for our future. They promised us 1 million jobs. Where is 1 million jobs? I've been in the street for 3 years, applying for jobs. Nothing. And you are sitting here. You complete your study. You're not going to go to Australia. You're going to stay here. You're going to look for jobs. You see, that's the pressing issue. We cannot just sit in the sideline and just watch them. Marvel is doing very well with everyone of us. For me, honestly speaking, I cannot tolerate that. I have planned before that one too. And I'm going to tell you. And if you want to follow me, that's up to you. But I'm going to do it as a Moreover student. Alright. My plan B is that if plan A did not work out, we as a Moreover students, we will petition our local MPs. We will petition our local MPs who are part of NEC to leave the current government as soon as possible. Media people get that right. You get that right into the media. If our MPs, the Moreover MPs are watching, if they are watching, all the 11 Moreover MPs, I'm telling you, I'm a little guy here. Back in my society, I'm a big guy. I'm a giant. I will move the community. And you are not going to do anything about it. You are playing with the system. And hiding under the Upng
blanket. But I will go first. That's where you get the power from. I'm listening to Morabe leaders. All the 11 Morabe leaders. I will make you suffer if you don't listen to my petition. I will make you suffer. I've been doing that after 2016. After 2016 crisis. I did that, and most of the leaders, they were removed from power, and I will do it to you. I will do it to you. I'm not care about you. I don't care. But we gave you power. And you gave that power, you came here. You abused to the extent that we are suffering. Right? We are suffering. Why are you sitting there and watching? We are suffering. That's when if our mother leaders, if they don't listen to our petition, we will do that. I know most of our mother leaders are in the government. Some of them are senior leaders. They are in the big position. I will go back to my village. I will go back to my province. And I will carry out the harvest and tell my little people that don't vote this guy. I'm going to do that. You have been manipulated by the money Marape gives you. I will do that. And that power you are holding on to your hand. That's not your power. That's my power. I'm the rightful owner of that power. And I will do that to take my power back and give it to the rightful person that will fight for my freedom, that will fight for my rights, that will fight for my future. I'm not going to give our death. That's my way to forward that. I know that Martha won't give up his seat so easily. That I know. And I'm coming to you, forward leaders. Listen to me and listen good. You don't hold the little guys in the village. I hold them. And I will make sure you face the election. Thank you. And that's all from Morabe students. Thank you to Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we now call upon the representative of the Civic Students Union, UPNG. And let's put our hands together. May welcome Mr. Ephraim Kliwolo, the representative of the UPNG Civic Student Union 2025.
Good day, University of Papua New Guinea. Good day, University of Papua New Guinea. One day, I am scared because this is the last time as a student standing in here. I am scared because there will be a time coming when there will be no platforms like this created in institutions. There will be no students standing like this to express consent for this nation. As I'm standing, I am shaking, not because I am not confident. I am shaking because you will not stand like this. I am shaking because there will be no groupings like this. It will be defined under the government laws as terrorism. I am standing here. There are crowds lying on the floor of hospitals. There are no beds in the hospitals. I am talking right now and criminals are multiplied in our streets. As I am standing here, not because of the civic students, not because of the University of Papua New Guinea students. I am standing here because of the good of my mother and father back in the village. I'm telling you, we are buying our own living in our own country. My speech here is very short. We do not make it too much story there. My grandfather had fought a lot for his country. Now the midwife had literally tortured and babied the people. Sabab numi karim di country na now midwife program in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow students and esteemed members of the University of Papua New Guinea, I stand before you today as a representative of the civic students, Wamasa region and all the citizens of this great nation, Papua New Guinea. I stand with a heavy heart, yet with unwavering conviction. I stand not only as a student, but a concerned citizen and an advocate for the future of our beloved country. I am here today to speak on behalf of the silent majority, those whose voices have been drowned by the government who stands for hunger and power. I am here to demand justice and accountability, and above all, leadership that sets the people right. The time for silence has passed. We can no longer stand idly by our country and our people in our future and are trampled. I speak with great sorrow and pain as a representative of the East and West Pacific. I am compelled to stand before you as the true mother of this nation, a mother who has nurtured her land, a people in the future. But today, I watch in horror as my nation is being manipulated, used and dried out for the personal gain of those in power. This is not the Papua New Guinea we fought for. This is not the Papua New Guinea we deserve. And this is not the Papua New Guinea I am trying my best to learn and... This amendment that has been highlighted by the SRC to discuss is not just a threat to democracy, it is an outright attack on the sovereignty of the people. It is a clear indication that Prime Minister James Marape and his government are willing to manipulate the laws to retain the grip on their power. This is not the leadership we want, and we will not tolerate it. And so, speaking on the issues, number one issue, the amendment that was made to Section 145 of the Constitution, let me read it. The Marape-Rosso government recently passed an amendment to Section 145 of the Constitution, which now demands an 18-month grace period after a vote of no confidence motion has been moved against the sitting Prime Minister and proven unsuccessful. This is a dangerous and unconstitutional move that allows for the perpetuation of power, not for the good of the people, but for the personal gain of this power. This amendment is not just a threat to democracy. Issue number two, the Anti-Terrorism Act 2024. The passing of the Anti-Terrorism Act 2024, which was approved by the government with a vote of 84-0, is a disturbing development. The Prime Minister hailed this law as a monumental milestone, but in reality it is a tool of repression. This law gives unprecedented power to the government to control the expression of its citizens, including the ability to silence criticism platforms like Facebook. The shutting down of Facebook on the day of Prime Minister's testimony in court is not a coincidence. It is a clear attempt to suppress the voices of the people, to silence those who dare to question the government's action. We cannot allow this to stand. Furthermore, Section 20 of this Act endanges our democratic rights as citizens, especially students, by labeling our acts of protest and free speeches as acts of terrorism. We are being lied. We are being put in a perspective where we see the law as it targets our highlanders, our tribal fights in the islands, but we do not know that this law is general, and whatever that students like this, in the near future when you gather and you speak for your interests, you will be defined as common criminals and you are vulnerable under the barrels of the guns of this government. The third issue, which is the National Executive Act 2025, the National Executive Council Act, particularly Section 8, subsection 4, gives the NEC unchecked power to discuss national matters in secret and make decisions that cannot be challenged by the court. This is an undemocratic and an authoritarian move that undermines the people's right to know and to have a say in the decisions that affect our lives. The people of Papua New Guinea deserve transparency, they deserve their voices to heard, and they deserve a government that acts in their best interest. You don't want black government by you making decision inside Amino house for you, and house for these people. These people must have a say, must have a criticism in whatever decision that is made and is passed by the NEC. We will not stand with this act. This act needs to be amended immediately by the government. The people of Papua New Guinea deserve transparency. They deserve to have their voices heard. And they deserve a government that acts in their best interest and not for the interest of those who they elect. My conclusion, fellow students, this government has shown time and time again that he is not confident in his leading. We, the civic students and the people of Papua New Guinea, will no longer stand by and watch this happen. We will not petition. Our petitions have been in the trash for years. This university has been supplying petitions after petition. You are talking me, change come on over. Petitions after petition, it is being filed in the trash. It is time for us to stand as one. Go beyond what is right. Even if it's illegal, let's go illegally to fight for what is right for us. Our approach is very clear. If Marape will take him action or amend him this law, we, and I'm telling you, I'm the leader of East and West Civic, we Greater Civic will take action to lock down library, administration, every school here. We will not have classes until Marape steps down. I fought for this nation and I beat this nation. No midwives will come in and spoil this nation. Me talk here because I am buying my own living in my own country. And I'm telling you, we civics are tired. And mind you, we are working very closely. We are going back in our end of year project to educate people out there that no more Pangu Party in Eastern West Civic Province. No more Pangu Party. We are going to educate our people to stand, elect the leaders who will come to serve and to serve with heart for the people. Thank you and God bless Papua New Guinea. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. That was from the East Pacific Student Rep, Upng and the team from East Pacific. Without further ado, let me now call upon one of our last born in the country, a rep from Jiwaka, Francis Kapubil. Francis Kapubil from Jiwaka. While waiting for him to come up, again, those joining us online, UPNG is staging an open forum that is calling on all the students from the provinces to come up and share their thoughts on the recent 3 amendments of the Constitution by the government. For those who are coming up and presenting their speeches, please, to the point, straightforward. You already know the line of speech, and those provincial reps who have not submitted the names, please submit your names so I can call you by your name, so we place it on record. After this, we will go for the school reps, and we will conclude with regional reps. Mr. Kapil, please.
Thank you, MC. Good day, Papua New Guinea. Many points and concerns have been raised by student reps from the respective our student union. On behalf of the Jiwaka Student Union, I would like to present only a few points there. But before that, I want to emphasize our point here to our SRC. Our good SRC, we want to raise a concern there, or a point of concern. Whatever discussion we have here in UPNG must be communicated with our sister universities like UNITEC, UOG, and UNRA. Okay, because there must be uniformity in whatever we do. Because we are representing the silent majority. So this is an appeal to our SRC here. So whatever conclusion or whatever our final standing, it must be brought across to other sister universities. So we do whatever we want to do, we do it as one. Thank you. Move on to my point here. We would like to emphasize on one particular point, issues have been pointed out there, and that is the amendment to section 145. Okay, before I go into that, do you all agree with me that all these ministers, all these portfolios, they are there, the ministers representing the respective ministries in our country? Do you not think of them? You are in balance up or not? Minaran. You blow around looks over or not? Over the minister. Emo Cronisa, Emo Rabasem, Emo Papa Position. So this amendment on dated March to section 145 of our constitution. And many more some. So was you got in wonder? We went to come up. Now finish. And finish now. So sorry, Papa Niginia. So we must not back law. Our deputy opposition leader, Mr. James Sumane. Now Mibla asking court. Lord, give Mibla good block constitutional. One in my blood is amendment on making long. People are demanding this, and this is unconstitutional. The next point that we want to raise is, in regard to the issues that we have here, that the 300 from the respective unions all come give a speech role. We want to put this message to our SRC. Beyond this discussion, we are having a discussion here. So our discussion here must not be exaggerated, must not reach our social media platforms with misleading information that UPNG is going on protest. No. We are having a discussion, and discussions are very healthy. We discuss and we look forward to what the next step, the proactive approach that we're going to take. So after this discussion, our SRC, what will be our next approach? We cannot have a discussion here, and look at one. Look up. What will be our next approach in regards to this discussion here? As I said earlier, our views, our discussion, our points, our concerns raised here must be made known to our sister universities. So if you are uniform, the one is standing Bamla, the must make him. If it needs to be a sit down or sit in protest, and must come up. Sit down or sit in protest, doesn't involve chaotic or riot. No God. You know, son of Bakshed law. Point the problem that leader is now to be come to the son of Bakshed law. If you enter in the son of one, the possible son in the sit down, you can sit down. You want to mother step down. Come on, the brother said, it doesn't mean global. You know what I mean? You can deny one is only come up live with you. Lawlessness, economic crisis. When is only go up live with you? We cannot just sit back, relax, and enjoy. You and pull, students in Bana, focus them. Mid-term school, Bible school, yes. All of us are here for a single purpose, to come study, competitive, same degree or masters or whatever. Now go out of school, finding work. Where go finding work away? Where go out of finding in the work? Where go out of finding in the work, huh? We must stand united. If it means that We have a sit down, a sitting protest, it must come up. No one of the one that Chimbarab, but we're not going to block him up, but we're not fighting him, but we're not going to walk him out. No. Sit down, just go sit down. We demand it. We must not talk about the truth. This is our approach here. Now, I remember concerned people putting come out law. Law and up now. We are not discussing or any of the points raised here for discussions and very clear. Nobody is breaking or discussing amendment or making long. Because why? Because all these ministers, all organized are NEC. All ministers, cabinet of Sabah, and Musab Lohan to Marapea. Marapea to you make a motion and make him. Because he knows, remember him. Forgot going back pull up. And you and me, what do we get? Nothing. If you want to change, we change it now. Want to make a sitting protest, a sitting protest? Mr. Bashir, support him. Only man one time, you walk about. Thank you, Lara. God bless all again.
That was from the Jiwaka Students Rep. Let me now call upon the Western Provincial Rep, President Poston Yane. Sorry, before I call upon the Western Provincial Rep, let me call upon a student representing the School of Law, Kasol Nagi Posman, to come up and present a speech. Please, let's put our hands together and make welcome Kasol Nagi Posman.
Good day, everyone. I want to thank the SRC for providing us the opportunity to speak on the 3 discussion points. Our role as law students in the discussions is to provide the legislative framework of the 3 discussion points so that there is a well-rounded understanding. We understand the legal implications and we propose our resolution. So starting off, today I want to address a fundamental tool within our democratic framework, the vote of no confidence, or the VONC. It is by definition a motion that is expressed as notion of no confidence in the Prime Minister. In PNG, the vote of no confidence, enshrined in Section 145 of the Constitution, has long served the promotion of accountability from our Prime Minister and the NEC. At its core, the vote of no confidence is a constitutional process allowing elected representatives to formally express their lack of faith in the current Prime Minister and their government. It is a powerful instrument designed to ensure the NEC retains the confidence of the legislator, which represents the will of the people. So why is the VONC important? The VONC is vital because it is Parliament's ultimate check on the Prime Minister, preventing unchecked executive power by allowing the withdrawal of support for a failing leader. It also offers a peaceful, constitutional way to resolve political crisis when the Prime Minister loses parliamentary and public confidence. Recently, a constitutional amendment on March 13th introduced an 18-month period for the protection of the Prime Minister who survived the VONC. It is not retrospective, meaning it does not apply to the 2024 VONC. So what are the implications of this amendment? This amendment carries several implications. The most immediate and intending implication is to provide greater stability to incumbent governments, which is the government's reason for the passing of this amendment. Every VONC divides the Legislative House, and as a measure to avoid further instability, the government amended Section 145 during the 13th March parliamentary sitting to prevent a VONC for 18 months if the incumbent has successfully defeated one previously. Concerns have been raised regarding the impact of this amendment on the principle of accountability. It is argued that the amendment reduces the legislator's ability to hold the executive to account in a timely manner, allowing a government that has lost the support of the parliament and the people to remain in power for an extended period. It also means that the opposition has to initiate sound VONC motions that must be supported with numbers from the elected members who have successful VONC, knowing that a failed VONC will grant the Prime Minister an 18th-month shield. After the September 2024 VONC, the opposition presently has one chance for a successful VONC in this term. If the next VONC is not successful, there will not be another VONC in this term. If the next VONC against Marape fails, the new 18th-month period will be triggered, protecting him until the last 12 months before the 2027 general elections. So what can we do? When the next VONC motion is tabled, the opposition needs numbers to vote out the Prime Minister. And the numbers are our elected ministers. Provincial associations, unions, district associations. These are the best platforms to petition your MPs to vote for a successful VONC. If it means collaborating with your sister associations in other institutions, do so. You owe it to yourself and to your future. And that is the tangible effect. It is physical, and you can hold the petition in front of you and say you did protest. When your MP comes back to you for your vote in 2027, you can show them that petition and say this is where they failed and why they do not deserve your vote. We say the PM is running a sort of dictatorship by passing the amendment, but it is our MPs that we vote for that give him the numbers to legitimize this on the floor of Parliament. They say that the Parliament is a numbers game, but the real numbers are outside Parliament. Protests do not have to be a march to Waigani. Protesting can be student associations through the SRC, standing in support of the opposition to challenge the amendment in court through organized petitions. Next is the 2025 amendment to the NEC Act. Earlier this month, the Parliament enacted the amendment to the NEC Act to clamp down on security breaches of highly confidential cabinet matters. The issue was raised regarding the publication of a shortlist of 5 candidates to fill the Health Secretariat role on social media even before the decision was announced by the Prime Minister. This matter was said to be one of the many prior related incidents similar in nature that failed to follow due process for publication. Hence, amendments were made. While confidentiality over cabinet and government matters are important, and it is addressed by the amending law, there are some aspects of the law that raises serious concerns that also require answers. Before going into that, we want to highlight that prior to this act becoming a law, it was a bill that was passed by Parliament. The process of the bill went through, the process this bill went through to become a law is this. Firstly, the bill is introduced by a member of Parliament. It goes through the first reading and then on to the second reading. This then is debated on the floor of Parliament and then goes through the third reading. If passed, the law becomes certified by the Speaker and gazetted to be brought into force on a later date. This means that the bill was passed by receiving majority votes by Parliament. So what is the Act about? The Act has a twofold purpose, which is 1, to implement Section 149, subsection 5 of the Constitution, to provide for the implementation of the decisions of the NEC, and 2, to implement Section 150 of the Constitution in providing for the functions and responsibilities of the Secretary to the NEC. The key provision in this Act is Section 8, which is titled as secrecy. The key area of concern by many Papua New Guineans is specifically Section 8, subsection 4, which says that a written decision of the NEC under this section is a privileged and confidential document that is non-justiciable. In short, this provision has two important factors. One, it makes NEC decisions privileged and confidential, and two, that these decisions are non-justiciable, meaning that the decisions of the NEC cannot be challenged in an impartial and competent court in PNG. What does this mean? This calls into question the constitutionality of this act, as the provisions limit the accountability of NEC decisions. An important constitutional safeguard is known in law as the separation of powers, in which all arms of government, Parliament, the NEC, and judiciary work towards providing a check and balance on one another. This provision limits this, or to the extreme effect, removes it. What is being currently done? In a press conference held recently, the opposition, through Honorable Karinga Kua, Minister for Sinisena Yangamugo, stated that the opposition will be seeking a constitutional reference in the Supreme Court through Section 19 of the Constitution on the amendment of the VONC and Section 8, subsection 4 of the NEC Act for the Supreme Court to determine on whether they come into conflict with the Constitution, and if so, to be declared unconstitutional. So what can you do in your capacity as a student of this university? We urge you to make well-informed decisions, as these decisions demand the need for intelligence and not to be fueled by emotions. Such as the law which deals with facts in the absence of emotions, so must you. Finally, on point 3, the Counter-Terrorism Act. This act came into force in December of late last year. On Monday, the police minister used this act to shut down Facebook as a test. How does this law provide for this? The act starts off in part 1 stating that it can regulate or restrict a right of freedom provided for under the Constitution. These specific rights or freedoms are considered as qualified rights, meaning that all citizens are afforded these rights until and unless you abuse them. Then they are taken away. Further, the Act defines terrorism as an act of threat or personal harm or serious property damage undertaken for the purpose of C, intimidating the public or any section of the public, or D, creating fear of or serious risk to the health and safety of the public in any section of the public. Then you come to Section 3, which establishes those authorized to enforce the provisions of this Act. The police minister is not listed as an authorized person under this section. We have identified several issues with this Act. Firstly, the definition of terrorism is too broad, which goes against the principles of legislative drafting, that the law must be precise to avoid confusion or abuse. Second, that it was used as a tool to suppress the qualified rights of the majority of citizens that have not breached such rights. Lastly, we ask if a member of the Legislative Council can respond and provide us with the legislative intent of this Act and further clarifications of whether this Act was utilized in accordance with the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. That was from the Student Rep, School of Law. Ladies and gentlemen, as we look to my left and to your right and at the back, we see our students from Islands Region marching down. Let's probably put our hands together and make welcome as they walk down, and I'll call upon the Western Province Students Rep. Come on, give me 5 man and welcome him all. That's what we call solidarity, and if you are representing a group of students, that's how you organize and come. Islands Region, we recognize and welcome you as the Master of Ceremony. I welcome you as you come in big numbers like that, marching into the Forum Square. Those joining us online on MTV and NBC, we have Forum still going on, and as the islands move in, I will ask the Western Province Students Rep, Faustin Yameng, to make his speech. Ladies and gentlemen, and those joining us online, entering the Forum Square of the University of Papua New Guinea, the students from the islands region. Our boys from the islands region, we recognize and welcome you into the Forum Square, widely known as the second floor of Parliament. And that is what we want to see. When we say you represent a group of students or a pupil, this is what we see. As they make their entry and settle themselves, I will invite the UPND Western Provincial Students President, Foster Yaneng, to come up and make a speech. Thank you, Mr. Yaneng.
Thank you, MC. You blari mi longa ba? Thank you, MC, for giving me this opportunity to stand before you as a Papua New Guinean kid here. Good afternoon, fellow esteemed students of UPND. Obayubla Begimo, good afternoon, Oyubla. As nation ever inside Los Angeles and critical time, where Mikisimi Blackamosem long discussing some issues, ever affecting life of the citizens, the country. Thank you. Before I proceed, my name is Foster Yaneng from Western Province. As a mandated provincial president of UPND FRSA, I just want to make my speech as a member to the province. It is my great pleasure and honor standing right here as a mandated president representing my students of Western Province and FRSA to this institution. On behalf of the association, my general student body here, the 4th district of Western Province where I come from, to my people of North Fly and as nation as a whole, I stand here to give my viewpoints to some of the pressing issues affecting us as concerned citizens of this beautiful nation. Mino sanabosem Western Piginini Longia, mi sanabosem Papua New Guinea Piginini Longia. To debate on the decisions made by our good Prime Minister Honorable James Marape and his cabinet members upon some of the decisions tend to be pressing national issues. And affecting the handful of our innocent citizens throughout the country, which we think as a breach to the democratic rights of our country. Some of the decisions long, you make government work long make him today. And no right to mass long democracy, long you make Papua New Guinea. One block point, where our good SRCs all proposing this agenda long you may discuss. Lord is Lavinun. Amendment of the Constitution, Section 145, motion of no confidence. 2, National Executive Council Amendment Act. 3, Facebook shutdown under the Counter-Terrorism Act 2024. I cannot delay your time here. I will straight go to the recommendation part. As said by the colleagues of School of Law, interpreting that amendment in the law context, it's very precise and clear here. So I won't repeat.
I want a good SRC here to make this as important and do some recommendations, strong recommendations where it needs to get attention of the current government. Prime Minister needs to be here to address those issues. We cannot just sit back and let these decisions affect us. It is our right. This is our country. This is a democratic country. So we should voice for the collective interest of the nation, not self-centered or a particular group of people coming with that interest to save the nation. We need collaborative decision making in the floor of parliament. I will elaborate furthermore on the Facebook. Facebook users, am I right long you got in this feeling now you sit down today. All penny Facebook in the country, you feeling all right. All Facebook beginning. This is a consent. All SME, online work long rely on this platform long creating. All small income long always at least all work long giving tax long you government. All work long rely on this stuff. Now government you can put in this policy long shutting down this law. You should come up with a workable solutions upon this thing. Constitutional reforms, long many more laws, Mibla needed, all other backup alternative policies to help save interest of our people, to every citizen of this country. Marapel government organ making one man, two men solo decisions in the long parliament that are going to innocent people. In all of this, let us all, honorable pressing issues too. The high cost of living standard. Now, Lord, as we can name him, ever long affect him. So, me appeal. Long SRC, body long here, take this into consideration. Kisi attention from government come down addressing this issue before me proceed long school. Thank you. God bless you, Papua New Guinea.
Thank you. That was from the Upng Western Students Web. President, rather. All right, next I will call upon you boys. Relax. I'll come to you. Next, School of Medicine and Health Science rep, please come up.
Once again, good afternoon. Young professionals, upcoming leaders, staffs and the university body of this premier university. It's an honor and privilege to stand in front of you all. I represent our medical faculty, the students body of medical faculty, to discuss on the issue that uprising issues affect our country. Without any further ado, I would like to acknowledge the wonderful Creator for giving us this opportunity, this wonderful day. With ups and downs in our life, but He is continuing to bless us and keep us intact. My name is Junior Gary, BDS4. Representing School of Medicine and Health Science. I would like to appreciate the President, our students representative of medical faculty, for hosting forum yesterday to come up with some points for us to present here at forum today. Without any further ado, I have one question that I'll be directing to our 2025 University President, Mr. Clinton. Since previous years, in 2022 and 2023, all former President of the University of Papua New Guinea, all been stopped. Too many petitions after petitions, Miblai write him go long, university. But only been compromised now, only no pushing forward through. Miblai no looking on the result long em. My two questions is that University President, Mr. Clinton, are you being loyal with us? Now status be whether you 100% you represent him University of Papua New Guinea, or you 50-50, or you are influenced by some of our politicians? And I ask for your loyalty. If you are loyal to this University of Papua New Guinea, because over me complimenting over figures, you can present him. And good la, you can push him forward. 30% to me. But where is the sense of our president? Where am I push forward? When I approach him, I take him. Defending law, all petition where you provide him. One and all, steps now, one and all. How am I approach him? How am I come, carry myself, come back looking me? Now how am I making him? Before of me, present him more points to me. Me like him. President of University, lokan clear him status from him, na loyalty from him.
Since this is an open discussion forum, I would like our good speaker to come and complete his speech. Because after the discussion, we should have a decision made. But not today, not. As I've said, this is a discussion forum. We will proceed on to discussing what the pressing issues of this country and not asking questions of loyalty or whatsoever in here. This is a decision. We hosted this forum to discuss pressing issues and what our views and the student views in this forum. So please, Speaker, you can come and complete your discussion or your points over here, and then we can proceed on to the next step or which approach we will take after. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Clearing atmosphere. And last, Speaker Nomi for making conclusion long remarks to you. Okay, back to my point. First point to me, we have to have a SSC committee in place. All SSC committee in place, almost setting one by union in place, lawyer, where everyone targeting all policies. Okay, all bill, all passing call of parliament, law, all by making device and the bill now all by amending where I am come up law. Organic law, parliament to you me. Law making them come up law. We must have a student SSC committee in place so that all by go around now investigate or talk more on this law, assessing all this law bill. Whether possible long come up law or no God, all you can bring him come to forum here law and you can discuss now, finding whether this is a law, or right law, using law country law you me or no God. Number 1 point to me, long on SSC. Underneath law section, with reference to section 55, you have him rights long. Check him all this law. Proceed on to my second point. I'm regarding Facebook issue you talk. Now you talk Facebook issue stuff. But in reality, I'm regarding our PM and Paraka Saga. case law PM na Paraga Saga. There was a lot of lies. PM and implicating why me talk there was a lot of lies. Because in 2012, our PM even come up. Finance Minister of State this is the time. Now, my goodness, people are thinking, this is not territorial, or we are not talking about 30 kina or 3,000 kina. 3 million kina. 3 million kina, Emi endorse him or Emi approve him Muslim. Emi approve him Muslim, Paraga lawyer bakisim. But this is like 30 million kina. Low court, Emi deny Muslim. 3 million kina, maybe no talk. Secretary, Emi go ahead, no make him this payment. But with reference to our Chimbu governor, making one black footnote na Emi Salim Golong, DVD, Secretary do yumi na Emi talk. Emi order him all making payment Golong, Paraka lawyer. And this la big la disgrace na lies Emi stop na melo this la. Long PM do yumi long closing this la, FB law, this la signing bago viral. So you need to consider in this law. Long telling PM that I need to kill reform this law. I preaching section 142. I need organic law na constitution do you mean? Prime Minister seat M1 highly respected seat lo this country do you mean? While I'm testify long Paraga lawyer. Should not step aside or step down before long entering this court. Before long this court, should not reinstate the position to But clearly signify Muslim. Preach him. This is a democratic right now. Preach him. Let's lady play me. That's my point number 2. Number three. We are talking about the factual thing that happened in our country. You mean find him. By making this law, there's nogat. My number 3 point continues live from our current government. For example, Prime Minister, I'm even promising you me 2025 vision do you mean? And we talk. And by creating 1 million job opportunity. And where is the job now? Big la disgrace lo country you mean. And even top and by creating 1 million job long September 1, 2025 speech long time all reinstatement of the Prime Minister. My point number 2, Emi Tokosem, Emi va make him Yumi Papua New Guinea become the black richest nation in this world. And where are we now? You blow stop, you blow some million law, pocket now, you blow stop. What a great lie you are looking for our current government now. And very disgraceful thing that happened during our parliament session. Our members and prime ministers and all of them like only amending this law. Only amending this law now only talk. Christian. PNG will be a Christian nation. PNG will be a Christian nation. And then on top of that, result. Marasa emi kirap na mi talk. 15 million kina. Emi been banned long Black Wednesday. Black Wednesday. In reality, this law standing only purchase him. 15 million kina. Only purchase him. M long. March 2024. And there is no one logic no stop na men notice looking. And big flood is great. Okay. And we are talking about factual things. My second note or second autonomy. As we intellectually we get it there. We come from a society, we come from a family, we come from a province. As of today, even all citizens to me looking stuff. As of today, you like a country doing no change. You like him, Ogara standing no change? Law and order? Okay, my second message. No can vote him on recycling member again. All this 80 members or 90 members only following Pangu round stuff, no can vote him. We're gonna do anything to stop that. You mean need him on Lubla leaders, Magim on Lubla, we all can stop on behalf of us. Thank you. And before me losing to the state, Mami, stating one black quote layer. From one of our famous American President, John F. Kennedy, do what you can do for your country. Not your country can do for you. We do not take bold stands when we don't take these bold stands who can take for us all. Thank you. My colleague.
Thank you. That's the first presenter for the School of Medical and Health Sciences. To the next presenters, please be precise, to the point, stick to our line of speech that was circulated yesterday. Please don't go out. Thank you. Next.
Good day, Papua New Guinea. I am really honored to stand before you to raise my concern against this Marafe Rosso government, failed government. Firstly, my name is Matt Webb, name Peter, 4th-year student at medical faculty. Okay, but we go quick because time is not on our side. Just a point to me. You miss a card is la. But me speak between. So over the line to understand him. So online recording to online sound to understand him too. So you miss a card is la forum discussion. Time lo jura remun, juta chisin. Amas to time me gam petition amas la people. Table me salim kwente la. Government looking put the side na running staff. So what do we not talk now, Muslim? All the SRC in place there. One is la stand after you petition is la one when a kilo government. Time government where go. You look also petition to you. That's one. SRC my plans apart from that to take in exam mass come out now to talk now. Make him stress. Now point to him, Muslim. You come here, you know, students come, they school now. Palama, you school, pay school fee, and then you meet also, you meet raise of voice of the silence of Papua New Guinea, of the silent majority of Papua New Guinea. Then you see our people that will it, they voted for that so Olympic Science Lab now, have the main source of this. So we are not, sometimes you mean responsible or something too. Look him. So sometimes we have been manipulated and played. So in regarding to that, 2016 unrest, plan those emergency nothing. So now what do we make him now, Muslim? By me, they will all points all students eloquate and so they will him within petition government. Now demanding government resign within Marabe Rosso government, Prime Minister resign within London. 2 weeks. Now suppose no resign, okay. If we simple we make him Muslim. 2 weeks or we go to the class now, just start so. No more than the class, just start so. That's why you are protest now. Just go to the class now, just start so 2 weeks. Another point to me, okay. Triple something will have to go claim them. La triple act, imagine them, elaborate finish lang First like them. I mean the next block, counter-terrorism act. It's like them, one of specify him. One of them is a group as the act also implicated under this act. So meaning that any kind of some student union or student boycotting, it may be attempted as counter-terrorism. So police come to work as to be because like law and power. It's like one of the law discussion was taking consideration, the resumes the complaint will have to or must clarify more, justify it in the law. And sense for implicating one again all organization of women. He said especially for warlords and the tribal or organized tribal, he should apply to the like union boycott now trade union and like. Now point to me and go lost NEC action or amending Islam. This NEC action give authority of government immune law, any judicial or decision upon them. Anything government will decision. Justice amana implicated is law. So government you wrong or I never immune. Meaning that the code of law will not be implicated in there. Another point to me law, NEC Act. Okay, another point to me last year, Los La, Act recently passing. Introducing 18 months grace period to vote of no confidence after a unsuccessful vote of no confidence. Minimum motion, parliament motion, none not successful. The next motion of legislative body moving again moving along the 18 months. Last act when the constitutional election section 154 and so on. Within 6 months, legislative body can move motions of law of parliament. So this time, all reviews the constitution now, within 18 months. So what now? All working motion. Within 18 months of long person, government can business powers. So another point to me law. Vote of no confidence, 18 months vote of no confidence. Thank you, Lubro RMF Sol.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, Lord, brother, to miss our Yubla Gada. Plenty of cross stuff, but all in this level of because you will discuss long. A country where we go through no problem. You got our 24 hours, we are 1 week, list of bike or spending no disla. Just like minute you are looking how you say Muslim, how you care, contribute and you to go. You will wait the mistress one to la point on by me finish. Maybe I talk about NEC and National Executive Control. Okay, now when something will come up long and by law, Lana need long section 149, now paragraph 2, and Prime Minister by law and Chairman long NEC. Now this is the NEC, now when we wrote power blow, this is legislative, whatever this jurisdiction, now you know total or this triple brains for government, this is triple, and now I'm executive, that's all I'm running stuff, I'm NEC. Now NEC me made up of this government where you know me midla vote me go inside long. Midla go press midla go vote more mana so box signing ya. This one man going to parliament na go kisi more position. Now something he come out na you can probably up. Now then you can complain also no God. Times or so it. How are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? This is NEC. Any carbon, any advice in this CLRC, and this CLRC and this department where I'm making constitution to counterplay me. So this let me advise it so Prime Minister me also by law section bit of finish 149 paragraph 2 chairman of NEC. Now this NEC major about this over a ministerial answer members when I voting must be along. So, what the classic example one make him. Suppose Prime Minister make him one talk program. Now we put him also commander of police who are you and I to go against it. Now you can complain earlier. Suppose I put you one defense commander one line plan for each other. How meet lava was sending this law. Suppose I make him one law bang na BSC me. Now me no beg him how na bang by go of course because by law I make 100% right. It's all law. Now you complain and I'm complaining, sir. You must understand this as an intellectual of Papua New Guinea. You are not a University of Medan or Southern Islands or whatsoever. You are a University of Papua New Guinea. Act like it, seriously. So now this is something that we come up so maybe I give him 2 plus something that's sort of solution that's all. 1 plus something, you must identify the base power of a Prime Minister. You cannot change the rider, but you can change the horse. question is in Prime Minister, you bahad. Because entries in power or member where you nami mitla voting na I'm going to tell them. Emad no mitla ba wone mia. Only thing, me by give what a long-term effect or what a solution long you me emotion. As I see our good president here, Clinton, and can organize him. What la solution also, you can make him awareness so that this 2027 election, you know, vote him on same recycle road. Enough is enough, country in Bangara. And what la solution? Number 2 solution, because I need to hack from terrorism. Suppose you will lose school campus na imi karim banana go outside and shoot to kill. This is the Prime Minister, you must come to identify na you must yourself. Because the Shabla Habosem Lohenga province, no offense to Lohenga brothers from your southern islands, or is the terrorism act of Lokamabo, tribal chief of Logona, Wallos of Logo. These are the terrorism act. We are not the terrorists here. We are intellectual of Papua New Guinea. So anta ro this only to go back and review na amend in this constitution law, this terrorism act. Like you na me depend na pigni by you carry na generation after generation, it depends on what you na me bamta total now. We need to see for another 10 to 5 years bamta total. Not long keke from it now to so na long 5 years from it na go down. Long edim no this a peaceful protest by me kissing still and something go out of hand. But by me recommend him or by me talk and me yourself, you must make a sitting protest. Yes. If the University of Technology, University of Goroka, if they can stand out and say no to this government system, why not you stop it yourself? Each time we need to stand up and talk no to this one. If it means for us to do a sitting protest for 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, so it must come up. People say no good love, people blame me beggar. Sitting protest, we must have a ripple effect. Why me talk about? Because if I stop him of grade 12 or nationalized schools or primary schools or secondary schools or come only because one you will still stop it only up. And in that way, people like him also, Prime Minister must respond to petition when people like Salim. Plenty petition, he go in vain, plenty here. Give me Salim petition after petition, he go the local one effect of Lord petition. Are you tired of writing petition or are you want to take action? The question is up to you and I. Let us finish, sir. Thank you, Adam.
I'm sorry, all brother Islands. Mivla one time soon Mivla Sakam Liabna. Sana Abna present him all points, so Ibla must patient on the Mivla Tua. All the time Mivla posting for him stuff. But now this la lili grab time, Lara Mivla posting pastem. One la quote from Robert Frost, a great American poet and Mikirabna Togosem. Freedom lies in being bold. Good lade Papua New Guinea. Plenty points. All brothers rest in peace. I think the next biggest of Kamanda all by stressing this same point. You talk about the anti-terrorism act. Kind of brother Lumi talk to finish na go. One real definition to this terrorism act we only pass him left. What's the definition of that? There's no clear specific definition where Emikirab na defining Muslim Nogat or warlords Lenga they are the local terrorists inside the PNG. No defining Muslim. It's too broad. So you may go outside land, you may conduct any protest or kind of thing. You are considered a terrorist by law. That's why me thanking 2025 SRC bringing forward this forum to discussing all this but then also we have on an increasing, the ever increasing inflation rate, forex issues. You talk about high cost of living to PNG. Those are the real things that are happening. Yes, all MPs they are turning blind eyes to these issues. We as future elites of this nation, one and something again. This is my 5th year being in this institution. Now I'm finally a graduate Nago. For the past 3 or 4 years, we've been observing, witnessing several petitions being written.
2023, Rainbow Fighter MP comes here only on a receiving petition. What was the outcome if they receiving? Nothing. No gatim khaiga if they petition. That's why you look at the speakers representing SMEs na kam sanabia. Only ask him our good SRC president and the executive team. What's the way forward? What's the next step? Bangla take him after this petition. That's what all boys come ask him them. So me re-ask him, me ask him again. What's the next step Bangla take him? After me writing petition, now Priyan Salim, Emba Salim Wandla rep them come, Emba receiving petition. But after I'm receiving petition, what's our next move? Maybe I bring him some suggestion. In any decision making inside law, any law, all but considering petition of it usually takes 14 days, 2 weeks period. So what me blood suggest him after me blood presenting petition go NEC, the Marape Rosso government, after only receiving petition, me blood demand him all. We have to demand them, me blood give him option law. Continuously we are giving them options. That's why me blood receiving any feedback for petitions that we are continuously writing. So these petitions we are submitting them are kindly asked our SRC team that it should be a demand and no option. Next point, them. By demanding them, we give them 2 weeks or 14 days period. So after only reply or talk anything about him, the petition that we flag him within 14 days period, what's the next move Bangla make him? I'm come back in the SRC team limit. Why me to also because you we voted you people to represent us. And whatever you talk them, the entire student body you bench sana bemba sana bakshet libla. If it means to go for a boycott or canceling all the classes, let's do so. If they are serious about taking back PNGO from this Marape Rosso government, if we are serious about changing the government, we must be serious with what we talk, what we do. Critical times call for critical action. So if it means to canceling class, we do so. And this, not only UPNG by making. There's legal sitting protest going on in UOG, Unitec. And if there's better option or kind of we can bring all the SRC presidents here. Since Forum Square, usually, we also call him second floor of parliament. So you can bring him all come here, we sit them together, we form a committee. If it means that all sister universities will go on strike, let's do so. And if it means to bring him, all NGOs come inside, all anti-corruption bodies, you got him as the business talent. If it means to bring him all come inside now, combine on him or compromise now, come up to a sense, let's do so. If we are serious about changing the government. Sabos nuka, maski, you mean waste time, you mean go school number, So that's my final point, if it means law. If we are serious about it, we can bring all the SRC presidents in. If it means to call up for a Zoom meeting or so, you mean make him and let's be serious, all together come together, you mean set him out one date over. That date, Bangla go on strike, sitting protest within the campus, all the sister universities go on strike. And then the NGOs, public, route, transport round, whatever, you mean need to send him out secular, let's do so. Protest minimum, Bangla Karim Penachol na, Mass School of Parliament na, this la, you mean sit down inside na. Make him some structured protest wherever Karim Kaiga. So this time will some thinking chol midla just bringing forward since I believe like You may discuss him all get all issues, so what me blood thing him lemon. Why not me blood bring him some blood thing governor? Our good SRC team will take it into consideration. If let's say what is the movie Snowden and all that. And one of the favorite movie Lumia. So the Snowden and one of IT specialist for the US currently is living in Russia. US always one man down, but currently Putin and protecting him and Russia. So this guy, he wrote a code, and let me just state him there. When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are proved by a criminal. Good afternoon,
Thank you very much. Let's have our brothers from the Islands Regional Students Group, Friar Lilia, on behalf of the Islands Region. Let's put our hands together and make welcome Mr. Lilia. Fighting man, fighting man, fighting man.
Good afternoon, UPNG. Good afternoon, UPNG. Good afternoon, Papua New Guinea. Miguel Lugam, you are serious to kiss him secondary bag, honest. You are serious, sir? You serious or I put down one back? Mas give me go, call him off, meeting him go. Call him off, let him go. This forum now, Mr. Naplia France. This was once called second floor of Parliament. Remember that? You blow speaker and talk to fake them, you will have saying something you got to talk to me, talk to me. Mibla agora university student NEC acto anti-terrorism acto one mo lecto raising me in miolim save Mibla kam sana plia now and you need test na UOG make him lem na Mibla out of emotion Mibla kam sana plia now Mibla to take him to the same path first no go nare mi motion blue bla driving me bla summarize thank you what them this issue now we na talk mi bla talk country blue mi bla begini blue na now mi na talk too em school blue mi salo light you know masawe school blue salo light media release come out said last time lost in the forum. Now why not University Senate cancel him over a class now? Sambla ko class, nami ka sanar liya nami dokto. Kam wane kan sampai. Turtu mi fight lo country blumi. Name blumi PL. Me represent him overall island region. Nami wonga man babi dokto. So we pull him time release. I'm going to talk to this one. Me bakirim bisalem. I'm looking. Good plan barousim. Good plan bakisim. No good barousim. But me la assuring you. Good plan as the president to me. Now when you call him off the forum, you go back again. Kisi mogara provincial leaders have tape. Bugi molken, nara mololim you. We will fight lo country. You know, when we fight lo nara the country, baga
Country para ben you go to the fact there. Why me challenge him the giant government there, government. You la protest there. Why protest na gulo hai? You protest na only step down them. Marabe kam no come up. Saying something. Now you protest me talk Marabe step down. You the Prime Minister saying something bakama. Now, this is anti-terrorism make come up. We will protest over the middle of 3 days. We will unrest sitting protest. And it's yet past finish here. This is all university at now established in Italy. A mall. All barren direction. Government come live. You learn sitting class liana. You learn sabe. All bagi modern. Go class for you. Don't let me understand it. But you go class. You listen, you out of school. So now, if all alliance region come, we will assure you president. You bring him over a provincial president floor. You PND, one on school representatives. You call him off, it's a meeting now, discussion now. Now bring him on now afternoon. Go say tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Now Monday we will host in Naraka forum can lay. You serious for country blue? Why we talk? You mean the collective facts good? Why me to you mean hard no? Why me attack him, Prime Minister? But you mean need to have him enough research, evidence to hand, and challenge him. Come up with the emotion, just the Facebook one number, the Kansanavli and the dog. Will protest. Marame, step down. Step down and carry man, how about step down? So please, me ask you. You give him over a president, will you come? Sirani more, talk to Quantum, Laremo, only you, or the supporting you. Now you mean it, kissing collective ideas. If it means no, you mean involve more activists come inside, opposition come inside, Narrow Association, Doctor Association, Teacher Association come. You mean it will do so. So tomorrow, please be asking you again. Cancel him class tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, it's a 3 days here. Please, you only move on a provincial leaders for you. You mean give good message for them. If it means you go out, like give him information, I can't give him again. Why you make him? Now Monday you may host all the forum. Now why you mean give petition? Petition after petition, you may give him petition go. Give him go, no harm or something, no harm, come out petition too. You mean you know, sit down good? Now why you plan? If you got plan, why you talking about provincial leaders for you? Now why you implementing this plan for you? If you know that plan, you mean Siran as a provincial leader, why you Siran? Why you plan towards this one? I mean, on the issue of useful. You mean you plan good? Why you put the plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and plan E too? And government by you challenging me. You need to sort of plan A, and by you follow plan B, start plan A. I'm the bullet kissing you put out. By you call upon them. Pamu view na go and have a place there, by you go coffin box. You know, make it funny. You mean you plan good? You mean you Siran good? See more points here, and we don't need to buy me talk. Why me talk? But, and by making petition to them. Petition come them. When you start, follow class, now busy number, you will stint it. But, you mean it Luciran, Toko? You make him petition by making him Monday? Now, tomorrow, please write yours in it. Emol to man. Also, Emol, make money loads. No, never the Toko, government, but also, or thinking this address by that load. Old man understanding me, excuse me all, on behalf of you, Mr. President. You write for all. Tomorrow give up all time no me You boom me Sirani me Saturday, Sunday, refine me again. You may plan him this You may put a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, come go on now. When we pay this in email of Monday. Now when we Siran, when we make him the peaceful protest inside Liana, when we Siran. Now, by certain condition within a week, 2 or 1, you know it? Next friend, after by me, receive the license. So you may need to ban him, Mr. Cook. Hemorrhagia. So then, Mr. No plan to talk to. Mami only Mr. will be good again. Hemorrhagia Islands region, Tabe or Mana give me this guy. But you may need to sit down and plan good, please. Consider him, Mr. Calling the meeting now, afternoon, please. If you don't make it so, and by you may hosting one black and here, and you will provide the leaders back on hosting here. Please, make him Mr. Hosting on the forum again. Call him the meeting. From now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you may only one black and you will present in the government. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put our hands together for our islands regional brothers as they make their way back to their position. Okay, now.
All right, good afternoon. The next leader is of Papua New Guinea. Good afternoon. Thank you. I would like to just add a few remarks on what our President and the representative from the Highland region of Papua New Guinea said. The fact that you are here is the sign that you are concerned from the heart for your nation, for the generation that is coming behind us. You come, you sacrifice in class from you, time from you. You come sit down on your left hand, and friends as well, you stop here. And it's so important you through care of country from you. Me like a stretching one to a point where I want to make a grab and come to John F. Kennedy took us. Ask what you can do for the country and not what America can do for you. If you are caring for this nation, if you do too much, care of generations come behind of you. What is something new making of this country? You as a generation, young generation of leader of tomorrow, you make one end. Are you participating in the corruption or not? You go private on a security or what? The real cause of the situations that we are going through, I'll explain it in a scenario and Bami goes down. Aaron, once a body pain and come up your hand, and also calling doctors are calling signs and symptoms. These are signs and symptoms direct you to an internal cause. You give him one for stroke pain or relieving this pain. When the stroke pain won't go and finish time, soon a pain will come up again. If you don't treat him with the internal pain. We have removed so many prime ministers from the prime minister office. Peter O'Neill will meet us him. You may complain of Peter O'Neill is the cause of the situations we are facing in the nation. And we thought that Prime Minister James Marape will bring in the solution. What is the cause? You are complaining at James Marape now. Michael Samare and staff the men around the country could now also change him. Prime Minister after Prime Minister. I tell you, the cause of the problems are not without, it's within. Bible says, Maris, you stop here. Want to go to me, don't think the God is not here. The God of heaven and earth is still the same God who is still today when we are crying for our nation. Prime Minister James Marape is not a God. He is under a highest authority. I tell you, no matter how many times he tries to bend the law for his benefit, evil benefits and evil ambitions, he will never take Papua New Guinea away as a nation. It will remain as a Papua New Guinea, and there will come your time. Are you ready to bring the changing? That's the questions I want to ask. Problem here come up from hard young man. Thinking young man, every you must have yourself, you must follow same. Barack way auditor now currently me follow men. Prime Minister, you will change himself or something and come up. The cause of the problem is the mind of man. I want to tell you. Thinking for this brother. You like come up on a leader. You like kiss him James Marape na. Peter O'Neill now. Country country established a role model from you. Brother, you are going to lead the country astray. you are going to add to the fire that is, add fuel to the fire that is already burning and bring the nation down. You young staff, I want to put this challenge up to you. You are the next Prime Minister. You are the next people who are going to oversee your positions, the top officers of this nation. You better change your mind rather than complaining about what they're doing out there. I want to comment, Mira, recommendation SRC President. Mibla, writing petitions after petition, we have never seen a substantial change. Therefore, Enga President ASEAN, substantial Enga, Ausman Atokoshen, me Enga, place from me fire finish. Or member meeting was able to straight in place from me. Or by Ghana give him all. Me looking up from member here. Genesis stuff is like. Me looking up from member here. And every stuff is in Ghana give him. Instead of the people.
Nice one.
Me looking up from member here. And pull up on them great. Now I'm going to steal instead of the people. I have a problem, brother, I want to tell you. You want to change the nation. Build and invest in yourself and make sure that your art is pure. And you become better to make Tracy better. This is why you be making now here. And one kind of say, bury me really in pain. But the internal soul is the art of man. You can rouse him Prime Minister, but next Prime Minister coming, if he is only a person that fears the Lord and loves the people of the Lord, that will bring a true change. Otherwise, we are just relieving the pain. And we are the next two leaders. We must be the ones to treat the pain, the soul that is with him, and that is fix your mindset, fix your attitude, get rid of the wrong attitudes, jealousy, hatred, stop your life from you, brother. Rouse him now. And we need the word of God to do that. My brother, if you want to make a difference in the University of Papua New Guinea, invite him, Pastor Oka, preach every semester. Invite him all. Successful people who have godly way. Tell them to come and share their testimonies. It will change the mindset of the people. And they will, these guys, when their mindset change, they can bring a true transformation to the nation of Papua New Guinea. God bless you all. Let's change our minds and we will be the agent of change tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. Let's put our hands together and give a round of applause to our boys from the Islands region. Okay, the next team, before I call upon the Simbu rep to speak on behalf of the Simbu students, I have also received text messages from various provinces that they want to come up, but since Mibla Toto is saying something, now what something is captured already within on Naraplay present in Pini, so we will go with the request from the Islands regional rep. We will call a meeting and engage all the provincial president, school reps to come sit with our president, and we plan our things. And when one fails, we take the next step. The other fails, we take until the government responds. Let me now call upon Karagul Ian from Simbu on behalf of the Simbu students of the University of Papua New Guinea 2025.
Thank you. Good afternoon, University of Papua New Guinea. Firstly, thank you to our SRC for facilitating this event. Firstly, I am from Simbu, but I live as an ordinary Papua New Guinean. And before my speech, I must be honest that the speech is free from, it's neutral and it's free from any political interference. I am not here to promote any political propaganda or agenda or promote any political interest of any sort. So I am here to express my view as an ordinary Papua New Guinean from what I have seen. And as you all are aware, only if you are at the top you can see things clearly. You can have a good view, and I must be honest with you, my home is at the highest mountain of our country. And I know what I'm saying. So the thing is, the most important question I want to bring across to you all is, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are classes cancelled? Because you have asked for this nation and you are not satisfied with how the country is run. That's why you are here. So, As a law student, I understand that before any nation become a nation, there has to be a constitution. Our constitution or that constitution provides a framework or the background. It's like a skeleton before a nation become a nation. That's why our constitution was adopted on the 15th of August, a month before we became independent. So it gives life to our nation. So as you all are aware now, the government is consistently and continuously amending the constitution. Now, that is the biggest threat to the foundation of our nation, which is democracy. So it's not just pure politics, so that we can say, Larry Mibla for 30%, let's leave politics to the politicians. No, this is not politics. These are basics and fundamental issues concerning the integrity of the current government and concerning the country as a democratic state. They are concerning, so the laws they are currently passing, they are legalizing, are currently threatening the true definition of democracy. That's why we are here. For example, the recent constitutional amendment of Section 125 of the Constitution prevents a second vote of no confidence after a failed attempt. That means an opposition cannot call for a second vote of no confidence for 18 months after they failed for the first time. So that means the government cannot be held accountable for its actions or inactions or some of the decisions that the government is making. So that's the very biggest threat to democracy, because it's beginning to take away the true meaning of democracy. Democracy is the government of the people, and that should be held accountable by the people. But that law is very dangerous because the government cannot be held accountable through a vote of no confidence. Another recent amendment to the NEC Act makes any decision of the NEC non-justifiable, meaning that any decision of the NEC, whether it is fair or unfair, cannot be tested in a competent court of law. For example, last year we have the opposition was trying on the vote of no confidence, and the Upng governor was elected as the alternative prime minister, but the Public Business Committee dismantled it, and the opposition filed a judicial review and tested the decision of the Public Business Committee through a Supreme Court reference. But now that the Constitution is amended, such decision of NEC cannot be tested in a court of law, and that is very dangerous. Another one, 15 years ago we have our state engaging a prominent law firm in our country, and legal fees were charged by the law firm, and some of the most prominent people in our country authorized illegal payment to the law firm. The person who received the money is found guilty last year, and he was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. And the people who authorized the payment, the letter was exposed to the whole world, and everyone saw it, but the person was not arrested. So the thing is, we cannot just remain silent on this. We are not satisfied with what the government is doing. But over the years we have filed petition after petition, but nothing effective happened. That's why let's go back and consider appeal to our MPs. There is no law that says that the students have the right to tell a prime minister to step down. Our MPs elect them, our governors, the people who voted elected them. That's why you have to go back and appeal to your MPs to move away from the corrupt government and form a new government. That's the only way. You have no legal basis, you have no legal grounds to demand any prime minister to step down, because there is no law that says that you can demand a prime minister to step down. The only way a prime minister is elected is through in the parliament. It is facilitated by a speaker of parliament, and your MPs the governor that you voted, the MP that you voted, choose the Prime Minister. If you are not satisfied with the Prime Minister, go back and tell your MP to move away from the Prime Minister and form a new Prime Minister. It is not hard for anyone to become Prime Minister. It is very simple. Your MP can become Prime Minister. That's why this is our honest view. We are not motivated by any political influence or political propaganda. This is our honest view. We express based on our right to freedom of expression, based on my right to freedom of expression. It is empowered by Section 46 of the Constitution. Everyone has the right to freedom of expression. This is my honest view, that I am not satisfied with the government. There's something need to do something, and we as individuals must appeal back to our governors that we voted and our elected leaders to go back and demand the people that we voted to move away from the government. If you are not satisfied with the current government as an individual, you have a responsibility to go back and tell the people that you voted to move away from the government and form a new Prime Minister. That's all. That's my honest view. Thank you for your attention. May God bless Papua New Guinea.
There you have it from the student rep, Sumatin Long, UPNG, Simbu Province. Okay, without further ado, probably we have about 3 more presenters to present their speech, and we are done for today. Before I call upon the next speaker, I would like to acknowledge those who are full of patience and still sitting down. Let's continue to sit for the country. Let me now call upon Stanley Waldibor, the president of the journalism students, to come up and present his speech. And after him will be the president of Western Islands. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, PNG. Okay. Awin program. Name is Stanley. Waribomi, President of Journalism Student Society. And today I would like to take this opportunity Bami Tok law, side law, or issues of law affecting country. Particularly Bami Basim topic from law, media and communication inside of PNG. All right, I have about 5 points which me like outlining here. There is a forum. The first one is media, proposed media development policy. This policy has raised significant concerns about increased government control over the media. Critics argue that provisions within the policy would allow the government to investigate media outlets, issue ethical guidelines, and impose sanctions potentially leading to censorship and restriction on independent journalism. Now what, as media professionals or journalism also making, also support them, community watchdog law or citizen of Papua New Guinea. And now that the government am like restricting their rights, censoring, giving censorship law, media, and by restricting and come up inconvenience for communication flow between government, become law, citizens law, Papua New Guinea. So which end or right? The other point, my second point, use of cybercrime laws. The 2026 in Cybercrime Act has been criticized for being used to stifle online expression and criticism of the government. There are fears that this law creates
a chilling effect on freedom of expression, as individuals may be reluctant to voice dissenting opinions online. Moving on, restrictions on journalism access. Instances of journalists being blocked from accessing government events on press briefings have been reported. This limits the ability of the press to hold the government accountable. For example, there was an instance of a journalist being blocked from a media briefing during a visit from the Indonesian president-elect. Moving on, intimidation and threats. Reports indicate that journalists in PNG face intimidation, threats, and even lawsuits, which can hinder their ability to report freely. For example, some MTV heads were suspended because they covered a story that was not allowed by the government. Lastly, lack of right to information act. The absence of right to information act makes it difficult for journalists to access official government documents, limiting their ability to conduct investigative reporting. These factors contribute to the worrying trend of declining press freedom in Papua New Guinea. International organizations like Reporters Without Borders, monitor have expressed concerns about this development. So basically, what Mila Tokam Lea was you may need information, no communication. Through information and communication, you may can build nation. Also now you come here and you communicate, you share information go come. So if government is responsible controlling media, you may or man marry your citizen by no right. Interfere no. One is something government talk and final over talk also. With no right. Awesome, so Mila, come about I want to understand that. Awesome, Barata Mikalo Island for finish. If President, SRC President, but the legislative can only one committee now. Maybe we talk about leaders, we can come boom, Sinan one time and discuss now. We can put all points one time now. Yeah. Thank you, Fred.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost coming to the close of the forum.